going to be teaching you today are 10 C1 fixed expressions that you can use in your everyday English, in your English writing. And if you're a Cambridge exam preparation student, you can also use these to wow the examiner in your Cambridge English exam. For those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Izzy from English with Izzy, and I'm your trusted Cambridge First and Cambridge Advanced and also Advanced Speaking teacher. I'm not going to waste your time today, so let's dive right in. Now you might be thinking, Izzy, what's the difference between a phrasal verb, an idiom, and a fixed expression? Well, a phrasal verb is composed of a verb and a particle together. Sometimes it's a preposition, sometimes it's an adverb, for example, to take up, to bring up, to put off. An idiom, on the other hand, is an expression, but it's different from a fixed expression because the words in the idiom are not related to the meaning, just like in a phrasal verb, right? But instead of a verb and a preposition, we have multiple words. For example, the textbook favorite idiom, it's raining cats and dogs. Cats and dogs have nothing to do with rain, right? Or if we say it's a piece of cake, meaning it's easy. The words piece and cake do not indicate that we're talking about something easy. But when we're using a fixed expression, the words in the expression do make it clear what we're talking about. And it's fixed, so those words always go together. And what we're going to do today is we're going to look at 10 advanced fixed expressions that you definitely should use if you're going to take an advanced English exam. So let's jump right in. Fixed expression number 1 is no matter how. Now, normally we say no matter how plus an adjective or a verb. For example, no matter how much, no matter how hard, and then the person who was speaking, I, followed by a verb. For example, no matter how hard I try, which is the same as saying it doesn't matter how much I do this thing, the result never changes. Instead of saying it doesn't matter how much, you can opt for the advanced alternative and say no matter how. So let me give you some examples. No matter how much exercise I do, I just can't seem to lose weight. No matter how fast, with an adverb, no matter how fast I run, I will never run as fast as my friend who is a professional athlete, by the way. No matter how hard you try, you can't change the weather. You might say to someone, no matter how quickly you run, you are not going to catch that bus. So use this if you're trying to tell someone that the result is going to change and it doesn't matter what they do to try and change it. Fixed expression number 2 is by the time. We use the expression by the time when we talk about a specific point in the future when something has happened or will happen. For example, by the time I finish work, or when I finish work, before I finish work, by the time I finish work, it will be dark outside. And the point in time is when I finish work, which is going to be in the future. By the time I arrive at the party, everyone will be dancing. By the time my students finish their homework, it will probably be 2 months from now. Fixed expression number 3 is to be taken aback. Now we use this in the passive voice, to be taken aback, and it means that you are shocked or surprised by something. So you might be taken aback by somebody's surprising or sudden news. Maybe you see the price of something and you're taken aback by the price. It's shocking, it's surprising. If I give you a work-related example, you might say he was taken aback by the news of his promotion. Your challenge is to practice your English and finish this sentence. So you can say, I was taken aback by, and then add the thing that you were taken aback. Remember, practice makes progress. Fixed expression number 4 is as far as I can tell. And that means to the best of my knowledge or my understanding. So as far as I can tell, the shop closes at 9. That's what I think. That's what I believe. It might not be true though. As far as I can tell, my sister is really happy with her new job. That's what I think. That's what I see from the outside. And to my understanding, it's true. As far as I can tell, my students are really happy in my speaking class. Again, I will never know what they're really feeling deep inside their heart. However, that's what I really believe, and that's what seems to be the reality too. Fixed expression number 5 is by no means. Now, by no means means in no way or definitely not. You might be thinking, Izzy, why can't I just say definitely not? Well, you're here because you wanted to learn advanced alternatives for everyday words. So use these and future you will be happy with your range of vocabulary. So instead of saying he is definitely not an expert, I can say by no means is he an expert. We have an inversion there. I might say this book is by no means, definitely not, by no means the best book I have ever read, or by no means is this the best book I have ever read. If we put it at the very beginning of the sentence, we have to invert it. By no means should you practice this dangerous activity without expert training, because you might break a leg. Fixed expression number 6 is to be short on time. And this means to have very little time available. So you could use a lower level phrase and say you don't have very much time, or you could use a more advanced alternative and say you are short on time with the verb to be. For example, I wouldn't advise this. It's just an example. You could say, Mum, I can't help you right now because I'm short on time. Now, my mum was never one to hit me, but she would have definitely given me the death stare if I had told her, I'm short on time, I can't help you with the housework. Sometimes my students say to me, Izzy, I'm short on time, but I'll try my best to prepare a presentation for tomorrow. Another example is a lot of people say that they are short on time as an excuse for not wanting to dedicate time to important things like doing exercise and preparing meals. Fixed expression number 7 is to make up your mind. Now, to make up your mind is to decide to do something definitively. So you make a definite decision to do something. An example is, please make up your mind, or make a decision, make up your mind about which movie you want to watch. Indecisive people have a hard time making up their minds. There's a lot of pressure on school students to make up their minds about what career path they want to go down. I didn't make up my mind until I was about 25 that I wanted to be an English teacher. And still, I don't know if it was really a definitive decision, but here I am. Fixed expression number 8 is highly regarded. And if you describe someone or something as being highly regarded, it means it has a good reputation or is well respected. So for example, a person can be highly regarded in their field of work. Isaac Einstein was a highly regarded scientist, right? Or Maria Duran from Maria Speaks English is a highly regarded English teacher on social media. If there's a famous restaurant in town, you might say this restaurant is highly regarded for its delicious food. So instead of using an everyday phrase like famous or popular or respected, you can use highly regarded. The second to last fixed expression today, or the penultimate expression, is it's not worth, which is followed by the gerund or a verb in the ing form. It's not worth, meaning something is not valuable enough to justify spending time or money on it, right? So in my opinion, it's not worth, or it's never worth, waiting in a queue for hours just to buy a sandwich. If you're writing a film review in your Cambridge English exam, you might say the film is not worth watching, ing. In my opinion, it's not worth arguing over most of the things that we argue about in our relationships, but things can really annoy us. So sometimes we think it's worth doing, but in reality, it's really not worth doing it. And the last advanced fixed expression that I'm going to bombard you with today is it's a matter of time until. And this means it's just a question of when something is going to happen. It's going to happen, we just don't know when. For example, it's a matter of time until she becomes a doctor. We're sure it's going to happen. Time is the only obstacle here. It's a matter of time until technology changes our lives even more. It's a matter of time until my students get more confident in English, because that's the objective of my course, to get them more confident and to get them learning more vocabulary. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. All right, if you guys made it this far, that means that you're maybe not motivated when it comes to English, but you're definitely disciplined enough and you have the desire to be better and use more advanced vocabulary. Now, what's the next step? Well, you did a great job today by sitting here and by learning lots of new words with me. And if you didn't take notes during this video, I recommend going back, grabbing a notebook. If you don't have an English notebook, buy or get your hands on a beautiful English notebook that's only for learning new vocabulary and grammar. Because unless you practice it, unless you write things down, and unless you revise those new words regularly, it's going to take you much longer to learn those words or to really keep them stored in your long-term memory. So if I had one piece of advice for you today on how to make sure that you really retain these words, jot them down in your English notebook. Now, what I'm also going to do is link lots of really useful resources here down below, especially for those of you who are going to take a Cambridge English exam in the future. And I know a lot of you who are here on my channel and watching these videos are preparing for either the B2 first or C1 Advanced, maybe even the Proficiency exam. All of these words that you learned today can definitely be applied to all 3 of those exams. And if you need an extra helping hand, just look at the resources I have down below, because lots of them. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button below. Share this video with one person who you think could probably use one or two of these English expressions to add to their vocabulary, because you probably will be helping them out. And if you don't want to miss any of these videos in the future, which I will be uploading every week, then don't forget to hit that notifications button so you hear that bing every time one of my videos comes out. And I think that's it for today. So don't forget, stay curious, stay learning.